And we are live, just like that, once again, here on YouTube, guys. This is Everything Phoenix, our live channel, and it must be Monday afternoon, lunchtime, local, because here we are, guys, and we are getting ready to dive into some cool stuff, guys. It is almost Christmas. Can you believe that? It's almost Christmas already. Where did 2024 go? I don't know, but it went somewhere, and we are moving forward to 2025, guys. So if 2024 was not your year, 25 could be. And so let's get ready for a great year. I think the housing market, honestly, since this show is about housing primarily, I think it's poised. I think it's set to be a good year in 2025. I really do. And we're going to cover a few things today here that go over that a little bit, but primarily today we are discussing the luxury real estate market and what it's doing here in the Phoenix area. And then, of course, some development stuff, very important, the overall market in Phoenix. And then we'll wrap it up at the end. But this is a quick hitting 15 to 30 minutes to give you some idea of data and what is going on in the housing market, guys. December is never a busy month with a lot of things going on, typically, right? I shouldn't say never. 2020 was, right? Post COVID and that V bounce recovery. We all remember that. That was different. And outside of something like that happening again, which hopefully it doesn't, that was weird. Hopefully that we have a good market heading into 2025. And good news is that all the prognosticators are all saying that we're going to have a good year, a better year in 2025. They are all forecasting. Nobody's forecasting negative appreciation growth. Nobody. Now they all could be wrong, I guess, right? But nobody's also forecasting negative sales transaction count across America. Everyone's forecasting it going up, and so that is really good for people. For a lot of people, not just realtors, obviously, because we make a living helping people buy and sell and invest in real estate, but also too, so many other trades we discussed on the show many times that come from someone making the decision to buy or sell a house, make a move, or add to the portfolio, that sort of thing, right? So there's so much business that comes off of that it's a good thing. So hopefully we have more transactions, whether or not the prices go up or down. You can make an argument on both sides of that fence, right? Just like if you buy a stock, right? There's people that try to sell stock when it goes down on purpose because they shorted the stock, and there's all kinds of ways to do it. But hopefully there are some transaction increases on the count or number of properties that sell. And everyone's predicting that it will be. So that's good. All right, let's jump in, guys. You know the deal. We're going to get into some data right away. So we're going to share the Cromford Market Index. Let's go to the homepage first because that has the main thing right here, which is the index overall, guys. This takes into account supply and demand. And right now we're at 87.3. Do you remember what it was last week? Pop quiz, anybody? Do you remember? It was actually 86 and some change. So it actually went up just a little bit from last week. That's a good sign. So Kelly, does that mean there's a lot more demand happening in Phoenix? Not necessarily, no. Demand could be about the same, which it looks like, if I remember correctly, it is right around the same. But what is better is that supply went down. Supply went down week over week, which is about right this time of year heading into the holidays. Guys, most people don't put their houses on the market for sale right before Christmas. It just makes sense not to. Now, I always made the argument that if you had your house ready to go in early December, it makes a lot of sense to possibly do that. But once you start getting a week and a half to 2 weeks out from Christmas, you may as well just go ahead and wait. But wait till when is the key? January? February? No. I highly recommend that if someone's looking to sell their property and they're ready to go, their house is ready, the 26th of December, yes, one day after Christmas, if it was ready, then I would do that. Why? Because that is one of the busiest days we have all year as realtors here in Phoenix when it comes to online activity. When it comes to showings, no. When it comes to private tours, no. When it comes to online activity, yes, it is. And so somebody sitting in Wisconsin, Chicago, Seattle, and they're done with Christmas on the 26th and say, you know what? I'm going to Phoenix in January, so I'm going to go ahead and just look up a few things. Or someone's not even thinking about it, and they come down to Phoenix on the 26th, 27th, maybe for some college football bowl games, maybe for some good weather, maybe just to ring in the new year with a t-shirt on and not a parka. People do that all the time. We see it. And when they get down there, they go, holy crap, this is a little nicer than I thought it'd be this time of year. What if I owned a place down here? And then you start looking online. So if you're not online, you can't be found. If you can't be found, hard to sell your house. So at least consider some soft launch or off market marketing that time of year. Food for thought. Okay, now back to the Cromford Market Index. We're at 87.3. It's gone up a little bit since last week. That is a good thing. Now, let's go over here. We're going to cover more than just this graph here today on the Cromford Market Index, okay? But you can see that right here, you have the changes in the suburb cities across the Phoenix area, the 17 largest ones. And guys, what do you notice on this graph that you didn't see the last several weeks on this graph? I heard you correctly. That was right. A lot more green. Guys, that means the market index is going up in multiple cities, maybe by just a smidge, but it's going up. And that's always a good thing for the most part. Right now, the people who are like, hey, man, I want this place to be more affordable. Well, that's not going to be the case. You're probably rooting for the red. But right now, the green, for somebody who's a homeowner, is a good thing overall, generally speaking. Prices going up, activity going up, supply falling, maybe activity staying the same, but supply falling. It's a function of supply and demand together. Okay. So green is typically good, and that is overall a good thing. Now, let's get to the commentary on this. The market has stopped cooling. We have 8 large cities showing an increase on the CMI over the past month and 9 showing a decrease. Okay. So still more showing a decrease, but 8 is a positive number. The average change on CMI over the past month is negative 0.1%, while last week we saw negative 2.1%. The market has not deteriorated for sellers over the month, and in the last 2 weeks has started to improve. Maricopa, the town of, is the worst performing loser, losing 9% over the most recent month, while Cave Creek is down 8%. PV is once again the best performer, rising 16%, while Tempe right behind at 11%. We have 7 cities that are in sellers markets, and 4 of those are weak sellers markets at less than 1.8, 118.5, and so on and so forth. Okay. So that is interesting. Now let's jump down here to the luxury market, because this is what we're all here for today, right? This is the fun part. Okay. Just to talk about it, know about it, see what's going on. We're going to give comparison today of luxury, non-luxury. Okay. So stay tuned. Here we go. You may have noticed sorry about that, guys. You may have noticed a surprising increase in the average price per square foot for closed listings in December. This has been largely driven by the luxury home market, where we have seen a strong number of closings at an unusually high price per square foot the last 9 days. Average pricing for homes with living spaces of 5,000 square feet or more stands at $760 a foot for December month to date. This is an amazing $90 higher than any month prior. Guys, that is crazy. So look at the spike. Look at this. This goes back to October 14th of last year. Look at this. This is wild, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. October 2014. My bad. All right. Look at this. It goes back. So 10 years. 10 years. And look where we come in the luxury home market, guys. Just think about 10 years ago. Oh, you could have bought a monster home for an average price per square foot of $213 possibly to $309 right in there. And just zigzag. Boom, 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 boom. With a whole lot, not much improved. And then all of a sudden it went gangbusters after what? COVID. That's right, guys. COVID changed the game in a lot of ways, and it did in the luxury home market as well. Why? Because people want to be in Phoenix, and they have money to do so. Okay, $760 average price per square foot. Okay, now, of course, these are the caveats. The sample size is small at these levels. There have been only 28 closings so far this month for homes over 5,000 square feet. We had a couple of those. However, it is a higher than usual number for the first week of December, and there are several spectacular properties at eye-watering prices. Examples include these right here. PV, 7,600 square feet for $9.5 million sold December 2nd, guys. It was only 4.7 in 2020. It doubled, more than doubled. Phoenix Arcadia, 10,691 square feet for $13.2 million. That is a bargain. Just kidding. Not a bargain, but, not a bad price. And PV at 7,400 square feet sold for $9.450, brand new construction. Those are impressive sales, guys. Things are far more stable below 5,000 square feet. Go figure. By the way, I'll just pause for a second, guys. We track the luxury home market because it matters. It matters because a lot of people who are buying these homes are business owners. They are people that have more money, and there are people that potentially have a say when it comes to employment, whether they own the company or maybe a C-level exec or something like that when it comes to employment in the city. They also are people that maybe own businesses out of state, and they bring their money to the Phoenix local economy when they buy a property down here and they live here for a portion of the year. So these are all good things for the local Phoenix economy, short term and long term, both. That's why we follow it. But also, there are housing trends within the luxury and non luxury space alike. And so that's why we're paying attention to both. And here's what I mean. We're going to share my screen and we're going to go now to the non luxury side of things. Now, does that mean a non luxury home is everything below 5,000 square feet? No. There could be some beautiful homes at 4,800 square feet. It just is what it is. We're just making a cutoff at a certain number of square feet. Okay. But if you look under 5,000 square feet, check it out, guys. A respectable $296 price per square foot, but not quite beating the previous peak of $297, $1 off in May of 2022. Among these smaller homes, there is still one with a price per square foot over $1,200 a square foot. Wow. Okay. And that's in PB, of course, for 3,224 square feet. That's over $3.9 million. Guys, what was it for the luxury home market? Luxury home market, it was 760. Woo! Down here, 296. Much better, much more affordable. Okay. The sale has a major impact on the month-to-month average, which I would expect to be reduced by the time all investor transactions are closed towards the end of December. These charts tell an interesting story. Okay. Basically, that COVID changed the game. And here we go. The percentage gap between the general market and the high-end pricing has never been higher than it is today. Luxury buyers are paying the highest premium we have ever recorded. That's crazy, guys, right? I mean, it is what it is, right? It's nothing new. We know that luxury home buyers aren't necessarily beheld to interest rates, and they don't necessarily care. If they have the money, they're going to spend it on what they want to spend it on. And that's what's happening in the luxury home market. It just so happens that Phoenix has an amazing luxury home market because it offers a lot. It offers a lot from a tax standpoint, offers a lot from mountain views, city light views, amazing climate for at least 7 months out of the year. And so that's why people come down here. And by the way, most notably, potentially, no or very little natural disasters. And so that is huge. You don't have to be disrupted by a hurricane or a tornado or anything of the like. Okay. These are all good things and why people flock to Phoenix. And also, too, let's not forget the close proximity. That is a big thing that a lot of people just kind of skimp over, guys. When you're in Phoenix, yes, you are not drivable to a lot of places within 1 to 2 hours. You have Tucson, you have Flagstaff, which are amazing, guys. Two totally different climates, which is obviously really amazing when you think about it. But you are a 1-hour plane flight, plus or minus a few minutes, to LA, San Francisco, a little longer, San Francisco, but LA, San Diego, Vegas, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and El Paso. And then, of course, you can fly down to, Rocky Point. I'm not sure about the airport down there. I probably wouldn't go that direction, but you could drive and be to Rocky Point in the warm water beaches in just 4 hours. Okay. 4 hours, 3 hours through the state of Arizona and 1 hour for the most part through Mexico. Okay. Once you get past the border. So it is a great proximity, and it's so easy to get out in and out of the airport here at Phoenix Sky Harbor. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen and we'll move this party forward. Okay. Here we go. Arizona income, speaking of that, and home values on the rise, according to the latest census data. This is interesting. There's a picture of Phoenix traffic. Arizona's wealth keeps increasing, according to the latest data from the U.S. Census Bureau. Household income and value of owner-occupied homes showed year-over-year gains for the Phoenix area and Arizona as a whole, according to these estimates, all right? So this is cool that the median household income went up about $5,000 in both counties, and nationally the gain was up about $3,000, okay? But when it came to the median value for owner-occupied homes in Maricopa County, values went up from $371 to $414. Guys, that is not $5,000 or $3,000, and therefore the gap widened. Okay, and that's what typically happens, guys. The home values will zigzag, especially in some markets like California or Arizona, maybe South Florida. but they usually come back down and zigzag more so than the Midwest, where I'm from initially, where it's kind of like steady Eddie, right? It doesn't really go down a whole lot, but it doesn't really go up a whole lot either. But it is a lot better when it comes to your income, because if income does go up, it typically is a snail, not a zigzag. And therefore, that works much more in line with affordability on certain houses. Matter of fact, speaking of affordability, let's go to this article right here. This is a good one. Yahoo Finance. Okay. This strategy is it for getting a 5% mortgage. Yep, not six, five isn't going away anytime soon. What might they be talking about? Well, I'm going to give you a hint. It's new home construction. Okay. We've been talking about this on our show now for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's real. It's true. Let me give an example of Jack Church and his wife Nicole, who actually left Phoenix and moved to northern Alabama. Why? Lower cost of living. Touring homes outside of Huntsville, the couple found that new construction was a cheaper option. Why? Because of the interest rate on their mortgage. D.R. Horton was locking them in at a mortgage rate at a sub 5% rate for the life of the loan, not a buy down, life of the loan. Some of y'all are going, man, you're getting on Google right now or Zillow or something. You're going straight to Huntsville, Alabama. And listen, I don't get it. Now, this guy is from the Southeast, so he has a love for being there. It says in the article earlier, right? That's where he grew up. So he kind of wanted to get back there anyway, but it works out really well from an affordability standpoint because it's hard to find a 3-2 in a good area, like a safe area and great area. That's new construction for $280,000. It exists on the fringes of Phoenix, but even then, you got to go out of ways because that's not the norm for being inside the city center or suburb center at all. It's not that cheap. Okay. And then talks about new home sale prices in the U.S. You can see in 1970, it was at a whopping $22,100. But again, the dollar was worth a lot more, less inflation, I guess should say, right? Or inflation occurred over the years, that kind of thing. But you have all the way up to 2020, we're now at 415,300 nationally. And so that is obviously a huge jump. But you can see from COVID, right? April 20, 309 to now 414. So over $100,000 jump in just 4 years, thanks COVID. Okay. And they talk about the different incentives and so on and so forth in a buy down and all that stuff. Okay. Now back to this article. Okay. And it talks about the median increase, of the Phoenix and Pinal County area. Okay. So overall, you get the point. Now, here's interesting. While the overall share of households that rented dropped, the number of rental units increased by more than 1 million nationwide, going from 43.3 million to 44.6 million between 2014 and 19 and 2019 and 2023. So the number of rental units have increased. Supply is going up. What is that all about? Well, I'm glad you asked. We have a nice article for this sector. Why 2025 could still be a renter's market. That's interesting. Should I rent? Should I buy? I don't know. By the way, if you have any questions on this, please give us a call. We would love to help you out and just walk you through your situation with the knowledge that we have about the Phoenix housing market, both the sell side and the rental side. 480-660-5974 is where you can reach me or anyone on my team. We'd be happy to chat you through that relocation process or the move up, move down process if you're already living here in the Phoenix area. Okay, now back to the article. This article is interesting because it talks about the supply and demand of the rental market. And it says that basically in 2024, there was a ton of new development of rental units. In fact, by the end of the year, nearly 600,000 units total are expected to be delivered, a record high. That's a lot. In 2025, 30% of the markets tracked by RealPage Inc. are expected to see upgraded rent forecasts, meaning more robust growth, while 42% will see their forecast downgraded. Okay. And they predict that demand for apartments in 2025 will be about 5% higher than 2024. So there's still going to be growth on the rental side, primarily driven by the lack of affordability. Okay. This is interesting. So the median U.S. Rent fell 0.7% on an annual basis to $1,595 a month. Okay. The lowest level since March of 22. Sun Belt had the biggest declines, obviously, because they had the most supply. All the multifamily apartment complexes being built. It's crazy, guys. Okay. But as new construction begins to taper off next year, they're predicting that the top 50 markets nationally in 25 will see rent growth between 2 and 3%. And more than 35% will see rent growth higher than 3%. Guys, I think Phoenix is going to see rent growth higher than 3%. I do. We have a lot of supply entering our market. This is true. But I do think we're going to see a higher growth because we have a ton of influx of population demand coming to the Phoenix area. Okay. But they talk about all the renters have a bit today have a bit of a market advantage. Many are opting to stay in place, guys. The national lease renewal rate is 62%, up from 60% last year. So most renters are not looking to move, probably because maybe a lot of landlords aren't jacking the rents up on them, but maybe they are and they're still choosing to move because it's just a pain to move. We all know that. All right, now we're going to jump over to some more development stuff. But speaking of rentals, here we go. Greystar invests $550 million to bring 1,400 rental units to the Metro Phoenix, guys. They're going to bring a whole development into of rental units to the Phoenix area because they believe the demand is there because we have a lack of supply, even though we've had a lot of construction happening over the past couple of years. Okay. So what's that going to do to rental rates? Well, we don't know for sure. We don't have a crystal ball, but we can say here's what it has done. Okay. It has been a just boring story since right about here, September of 2022. Rent growth or strong. It's been averaging about $1.35 a square foot for a rental property in the Phoenix area ever since September 2022. Well over 2 years of flat. Now, flat's not necessarily bad, but you can see, look at the growth over all these years since 2015. It's crazy. And then it just went flat here. Well, because it grew so high since COVID, again, thanks COVID, that it had to stop. And it's kind of starting to mimic the sales market when it comes to buying and selling a property, right? $1.35 a square foot is your general rule of thumb in the Phoenix area today. Okay. Thought you guys might appreciate knowing that. The Riot Hospitality Group to open fine dining dinner club in Old Town Scottsdale, guys. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be 13,000 square feet of a new concept in Old Town Scottsdale called the Shiv Supper Club. This will be opening in 2025, sometime in Q1. And there's a rendering or a picture of it right there, which is awesome. But it's going to have all kinds of fun stuff, including multiple bars and patios and its own dessert room. We're going to have multiple caviar options as well throughout the property. And this is going to be just a really high-end, nice place to go grab dinner and have a little entertainment right in the thick of things when it comes to the entertainment district of Old Town Scottsdale. Okay, that's on its way. A few more things. We're not going to go through all these articles, but just to show you a couple of things that are happening because there is a ton of development continuing to occur. Microsoft pilots new zero water data center cooling system in Goodyear. Guys, data centers are a huge thing in the Phoenix area. Data centers have erupted in this area, and there are more and more coming, but they do take a lot of resources and some water, even though a lot of it's recycled. Now we're talking zero water potentially on the data centers, which is going to be just phenomenal for the environment overall and sustainability of our water supply in the Phoenix area, moving 100 or 200 years in the future. Okay, just to give you an idea there's a data center, and then here we go. Financing is set for a huge East Valley battery storage project, guys. Another battery storage happening in Phoenix because there is just so much development occurring. This is one that's in the West Valley, and they are working on another one in the East Valley. Okay, Goodyear. Google Fiber rolls out gigabit internet service in Chandler. So if you live in Chandler, you're in luck. Google Fiber is now coming to your town. Matter of fact, it's there, and here are the prices. It's $70 a month for a 1 gigabyte service, guys. That is a steal. And it's only $100 for 2 gigabytes, and it's $125 for 5, and $150 a month for 8 gigabytes. But again, right now, just in the Chandler, Arizona area. Okay. Development agreement for a $7 billion project clears the first hurdle, guys. We know about this. This is called Halo Vista. This is the campus around the TSMC, the chip manufacturer, Taiwan manufacturing semiconductor plant, and it's going to be phenomenal, guys. $7 billion plant development. It's going to be crazy. So in the city, I don't know if I believe this, but the city does state that the taxpayer money will not be going towards the infrastructure credits and so on and so forth, that they will get that from other sources. So we'll see if that remains true. That would be great because we don't want taxes going for certain things, and it depletes the supply and therefore, or the bucket, if you will, and therefore they have to raise taxes in the future. But right now they're saying none of that's going to happen. So that's good. That's really good. Florida company opens Aerospace packaging plant in Chandler. Chandler, you're getting some more development. Aerospace packaging right there is going in the Chandler area, guys. Chandler is booming right now with all kinds of things. Okay. And we got to have some fun here. Pickleball, of course. We got to talk pickleball sports business here on the Everything Phoenix live show. Pure pickleball and paddle set to change the game in Scottsdale by 2026 with a 50-court complex. Guys, look at this. It's going to be beautiful. Okay. Pickleball is taking over in terms of a family-friendly, super popular sport. People can do it. And Scottsdale, Arizona is going to be the mecca, the hub, not just for golf anymore, but also for pickleball. Okay. Indoor, both, and outdoor. Okay. And that's coming in 2026, this huge facility. All right. Now, let's cover rates, guys. Rates were doing awesome last week, and then all of a sudden down to 6.72, 6.68. If you were looking at buying a property, you should have locked your rate then. That's a pretty good rate with everything all considered. And unfortunately, it bounced right back up to 6.9%. All right. So rates are doing this yo-yo thing. Everyone's predicting that rates are going to be volatile through the end of this year, of course, for a few weeks we have left. And then, of course, in the Q1 of 2025. But a lot of people think it's going to be pretty volatile for the whole year of 2025. Experts that is. However, settle around 6% by the end of 2025, which honestly, that would be great. And if rates settle around that number, I think this article right here talks about the number. Realtor Group forecasts the U.S. 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaging 6% in 2025. That's good. An average, that means it's going to dip below 6% maybe a couple times or a few times throughout the year, which is even better. Okay. But here you go. The NAR also projected 4.5 million existing homes in 2025. And in terms of selling, okay, that's good. That's a huge increase from 4.1 million this year, which is what it's looking like it's going to be. And forecast house pricing increases by about 2%. It's estimated a $410,700 median existing home price. But to talk about what we're talking about with the rates, here you go. If rates stabilize around 6%, about 6.2 million households can once again be able to afford median price homes compared to the current constraints with rates near 7%, guys. And that's the mic drop right there. There you have it. Guys, if that average of 6% does occur in 2025, you got 6.2 million households jumping back into the marketplace, which would be phenomenal. But if that happens, guys, what's that probably going to happen due to prices? It's probably not going to have prices go down. Prices will continue to go up. And that's why most of the experts are stating that they believe the median home price will increase anywhere from 1% to about 4%, maybe 5%, depending on who you ask, next year. So again, I love this saying, guys. You heard me say it before. I'll say it again. Real estate, you don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait. Okay. And that's how you build long-term wealth. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on my show here today, Everything Phoenix. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Christmas is right around the corner. Hope you get all your shopping done on time. Don't forget, I got to finish mine too as well. And we'll go from there, guys. We'll see you here soon. Early Merry Christmas if I don't see you. But thank you for joining our time here today. I really appreciate your time. I know it's valuable and classy. Phoenix, until next week, keep it classy.